How well do you really know the NBA? Even the biggest basketball fans don't know everything. Throughout NBA history, there have been some truly inexplicable mistakes and blunders that leave us scratching our heads. From draft day disasters to costly on-court errors, these basketball bloopers are so shocking they seem downright unreal. In this video, I'll count down the 7 most unexplainable mistakes in NBA history. You won't believe the mind-boggling blunders that made this list. By the end, your jaw will be on the floor. Trust me, these confounding mistakes are some of the craziest things you'll ever see in basketball. The NBA has produced some of the most spectacular highlights and unbelievable feats in sports history. However, there have also been some head-scratching mistakes that defy all logic and reason. In basketball, even the best players and teams are capable of blunders. In this video, we will uncover some of the biggest, unexplainable mistakes that have occurred in NBA games and events over the years. From draft picks gone wrong to unfortunate plays at the worst possible moments, these are errors that left fans, analysts, and even the players and coaches themselves completely baffled. Why do these mistakes happen? And what causes even elite basketball players and decision-makers to falter in inexplicable ways? Let's dive in and see if we can make sense of the 7 most unexplainable mistakes in NBA history. The Portland Trail Blazers. Draft. Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. In 1984, the Portland Trail Blazers had the 2nd overall pick in the NBA draft. They needed a center, so when the Houston Rockets took Hakeem Olajuwon 1st overall, the Blazers had a choice between standout University of North Carolina guard Michael Jordan and Kentucky center Sam Bowie. Incredibly, they chose Bowie, thinking he would fill their need at center. This mistake was instantly infamous, as Jordan went on to become arguably the greatest player of all time, winning 6 championships with the Bulls. Bowie, meanwhile, had an underwhelming, injury-riddled career. No one could have predicted Jordan's brilliance, but passing on him for Bowie remains one of the biggest draft blunders ever. The Pistons leave Kobe Bryant off their scouting report in the 2004 Finals. In the 2004 NBA Finals, Kobe Bryant and the Lakers faced the Detroit Pistons. Shockingly, the veteran Pistons failed to include Bryant on their scouting report, heading into the series, focusing instead on stopping Shaquille O'Neal. Bryant was coming off a season where he averaged 24 points per game and had taken on a larger offensive role. He punished the Pistons for the mistake, averaging 27 points per game in the first 4 games before Detroit adjusted. The Pistons did manage to win the series in 5 games, but overlooking Bryant was an inexplicable mental lapse for an elite defensive team. Chris Webber calls a timeout the Warriors didn't have in 1993 playoffs. In Game 4 of the 1993 Western Conference first round, Chris Webber and the Warriors were trailing the Jazz 76-75 with seconds left. After securing a rebound, Webber rushed to call a timeout despite the Warriors having none left, resulting in a technical foul and free throws for Utah. The Jazz made the free throws and went on to win the game and the series. To call a timeout in that situation made no sense, and it ended up costing the 8th-seeded Warriors a chance to upset the 1st-seeded Jazz. Webber's mistake has lived on in highlight reels ever since. Draymond Green accidentally passes to Joel Barry in the 2022 playoffs. Late in the 4th quarter of Game 1 of the 2022 Western Conference Finals, the Warriors were inbounding the ball, trailing by 1 point. Draymond Green received the inbounds pass and mistakenly threw it directly to Memphis's Joel Embiid while attempting a pass. The turnover gave the Grizzlies possession while they were up 1 with under 10 seconds left. Fortunately for the Warriors, they were saved from elimination when Green blocked a shot on the ensuing possession to force overtime. However, Green's inexplicable mental lapse nearly cost his team the game. The Lakers forgot to put names on their jerseys in 1962. In the opening game of the 1962 NBA playoffs, the Lakers came out wearing blank jerseys with no names or numbers on the back. This odd mistake occurred because their owner, Bob Short, wanted to have the crowd focus on the team name rather than individual players. However, the referees informed them that no nameless jerseys were allowed and forced the Lakers to write names and numbers on them with markers before the game could start. It was an embarrassing blunder, and they switched to normal jerseys for the rest of the playoffs. Nick Anderson misses 4 straight free throws in the 1995 NBA Finals. In Game 1 of the 1995 NBA Finals, Orlando's Nick Anderson had a chance to seal a victory for the Magic at the free throw line in the closing seconds. Already up 3 points, Anderson was sent to the line twice and missed 4 consecutive free throws. The Rockets secured the rebounds and were able to tie the game and eventually win in overtime. The Magic lost the series in 4 games, and Anderson's mental collapse at the line was a turning point. Such an improbable meltdown in the clutch could not have been predicted. The Knicks failed to show up for Game 3 of the 1951 Finals. In what has to be one of the biggest blunders in finals history, the New York Knicks somehow missed Game 3 of the 1951 NBA Finals against the Rochester Royals. After splitting the first 2 games, the Knicks did not arrive in Rochester for Game 3 due to a misunderstanding about the schedule. With no opponents to play against, the Royals won Game 3 by default. While travel miscues were more common in the early NBA days, this mistake was inexcusable on the final stage. Michael Jordan gets his jersey stolen before a game in 1990. Before a game in Orlando in 1990, Michael Jordan's jersey was stolen from the locker room. With no replacement, Jordan was forced to wear a nameless #12 jersey that was too big for him. The Bulls brought it down to size by safety pinning the back, leading to the iconic image of Jordan hustling up and down the court in the oversized makeshift jersey. It was an absurd scene for the best player in basketball and epitomized the venue's reputation as the O-Rena at the time. The Suns leave the Celtics bench, uncovered in Game 2 of 1976 Finals. Heading into a hot game, 2 of the 1976 Finals without air conditioning, the Suns made the bizarre decision to leave the Celtics bench completely exposed to direct sunlight. With temperatures over 100 degrees, the Suns side had shade, but the Celtics baked on their bench. Though it gave Phoenix an advantage, the strange tactic backfired. Furious over the conditions, Boston rallied to win and take a 2-0 series lead. Tracy McGrady forgets the score in a 2004 playoff game. Late in a 2004 playoff game against the Mavericks, Tracy McGrady committed an unfathomable mistake. He forgot the score. With the Rockets down 2 and under 10 seconds left, McGrady passed up an open look to drive for a layup, not realizing hitting the layup would still leave them down 1. The Rockets failed to get another shot off and lost the elimination game. For a superstar to forget the score in crunch time was inexplicable. The Celtics League, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wide, open in Game 7 of 1969 Finals. In Game 7 of the hotly contested 1969 Finals between the Celtics and Lakers, the Celtics made the costly mistake of repeatedly leaving Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wide open for easy buckets. Rather than playing him straight up, Boston tried ineffective gimmicky defenses. Jabbar dominated with 37 points, leading LA to the championship. Letting the most unstoppable shot in basketball go free to do damage was an unexplainable coaching blunder. The NBA has given us some of the most amazing highlights and clutch moments in sports. However, it has also produced some truly head-scratching mistakes that leave us wondering, what were they thinking? From draft day blunders to mental lapses in critical games, these unexplainable errors often end up shaping NBA history in unpredictable ways. While the pressure of the final stage or intensity of the playoffs certainly plays a role, there's no obvious reason why players and teams lose their focus at the worst possible times. These baffling mistakes just go to show that no one, not even the greatest athletes and sharpest minds in basketball, are immune to utterly inexplicable blunders. In the NBA, you never know what you're going to get.